A help sign was discovered in the mud by a father and son who were camping far into the forest. The police were taken aback by what they did after making this unsettling finding, which made them fear for their own safety. Sons and fathers like spending time together because it allows them to connect and get to know one another better. It's critical to have positive, solid ties with immediate family members. Thomas, his little son, thrilled at the chance to spend more time with his father when Ryan offered to take him camping. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Though Ryan didn't spend a lot of time at home and was frequently working, Thomas couldn't criticize him for trying to be a better parent and for making such significant and positive changes in his life. They made the decision to camp deep in the forests after driving several kilometers outside of their community into the forest. Ryan and Thomas were excited to reconnect with nature and partake in healthy bonding activities like fishing, building a campfire, telling tales, and toasting marshmallows on sticks, since the forest covered a large area and was breathtakingly beautiful. There was silence on the trip to the woodland. While distributing candies and Coke amongst them, Ryan and Thomas turned up their favorite music and started singing along loudly. While driving, they didn't pass many other automobiles, but Ryan wasn't counting on it. People tended to choose a more direct path that skirted the greenery because the forest extended for kilometers on end. The occasional automobile would pass them, but that was all. There was no doubt that the excursion would be peaceful and enjoyable. There was a time when they passed a big crowd of people standing by the road, everyone in brightly colored coats, but Ryan and Thomas didn't really pay them any mind, just a quick glance. After pulling into a lay-by, they spent hours walking through the woodland to find the ideal location for their campsite. Ryan was aware that there was a large creek that ran for kilometers someplace among the woods. They could probably track down and hunt their own food, and there was a fair possibility they would encounter some of the local fauna if they set up camp there. They got to work erecting their tent. The tent was spacious enough to accommodate both of them. Ryan made sure it was in a beautiful open area where they could construct their campfire without having to worry about blowing up the trees around. Though it went down a steep slope, the river was just a few meters away. There was no way the water could get to them in the event of a sudden rise. It was the perfect place to camp. First, there was fishing. With their rods dangling into the water, the two sat on the riverbank. It was a lovely time of father and child connecting as they chatted about a wide range of topics. Ryan and Thomas were aware that they would remember and treasure it in the future. Regretfully, it appeared that no fish, or at least none that were interested in being caught, were in the river. So a few hours later, they gave up on the plan and went hunting for a small deer or maybe a rabbit to eat in a more heavily forested region. They zipped their tent carefully before setting it aside to prevent a scavenger from stealing their supply of delicious goodies. For a duration of 5 to 10 minutes, the father and son strolled silently, listening for any noise made by nature. When they eventually came to a split in the trail, Ryan took one direction and his son Thomas took the other. It appeared that the pathways reunited some 100 meters farther on, suggesting that nothing untoward could occur during that duration. They made every effort to remain very quiet as they parted ways. Being as silent as possible is, after all, part of the art of hunting. Any disturbance may frighten the animal away and ruin your chance of catching it. Ryan and Thomas both searched the floor for any new footprints they might track, but there was hardly any sign of any creatures at all. Thomas broke into a startled yell. He had discovered something completely unanticipated, something that made him shiver. His father hurried over, fearing that his son could have seen a predator pursuing them or something similar. Not even a predator stalking them could compare to what he saw. With mouths agape from amazement and dread, Ryan and Thomas both looked down at the ground. One word was scribbled there in big letters in the partially dried mud: help. Ryan's and Thomas's blood ran cold since it appeared like the letters had been penned not too long ago. Neither of them had seen another person since leaving the lay-by beside the forest, and there were no other overt indications that anyone else was in the area. They were alone there as far as they knew. and just who had penned that awful word. Ryan had a sudden memory of the drive into the woodland. A mile or two farther down the road, he recalled seeing the people in the high-visibility jackets. Perhaps there was a search party, and there's a chance the word scribbled in the mud had anything to do with the search team. They hurried back to the car and headed toward the location where they had spotted the search crew. It transpired that Kayla was the girl the gang was looking for. A few days prior, she had walked out from her house, and her whereabouts were thought to be in the forest. There were several reasons why this was risky. There were many different natural hazards and impediments in the forest, but there were also dangerous creatures that may attack if provoked. Kayla was experiencing many mental health problems, including a significant developmental delay, which exacerbated the situation. She was 19 years old, but her mental age was closer to 6 or 7. She would undoubtedly be terrified and perplexed. It was, therefore, crucial that she was discovered to be alive and well. But the rescuers had their job cut out for them because there was a limited number of personnel and a large area to scour. After Ryan and Thomas told them what they had seen, the rescuers arrived on the spot and began searching the area for any more signs of life within an hour or two. They had optimism that Kayla was still alive and undamaged because it was the best lead they had found thus far. They cried out and searched the ground for tracks, but it took them only 30 minutes to find Kayla in the most unlikely place, alive and healthy. And all of it was because of what Ryan and Thomas had done, which startled the responding police officers. Without putting away their camping gear, the father and son had fled back to their vehicle. Though it could have appeared as an inattentive choice, they had done it on purpose. They hoped that the person who had left the message would come across the camp and be able to seek refuge, relax, and even eat, in addition to wanting to locate the rescuers as quickly as possible. The police were astounded that the plan succeeded, as much as they could not believe how clever the two were. Kayla was thankfully discharged from the hospital after a short stay. She was very dehydrated and famished, but she would make it. Inside the tent, she had discovered a sweater, a water bottle, and some food, and she had helped herself to satisfy her hunger and thirst that had been bothering her for days. Her family was ecstatic to hear that she was okay, and informed Ryan and Thomas that they would always be appreciative of their prompt thinking in saving their daughter's life. The father-son relationship was strengthened by this event, which also spared the unfortunate girl's life. Undoubtedly, the fact that some people delayed taking action and were reluctant to act was what ultimately prevented the worst from happening. It is now up to you. What were your thoughts on this amazing tale? If you had found such a strange and mysterious letter in the dirt, how would you have felt? Would you have responded promptly or disregarded it? Please feel free to share your ideas and opinions in the space provided for comments below, as we always appreciate hearing from you. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.